Okay, everyone. Welcome to Thursday, September 2015, and I'm Coach Jaynine, and we are here for our morning moto, our dose of morning motivation. I've got my coffee in one of my favorite mugs with hearts, because we all have to start our day with heart. We have to have goodness in our heart. So I'm here on the East Coast. I'm sitting here by myself, so I hope somebody joins me soon. We've had great conversations all week, so I will just be following our format. Going to tweet this out. And let's get going. This is, really our daily dose of motivation, getting in the right mindset. I'm reading from Joel Osteen, continuing on. Today's reading, The Power of Your Bloodline. You saw me before I was born. Every day of my life was recorded in your book. Every moment was laid out before a single day has passed. Psalms 139:16. I read recently about some famous race horses, the kind you might see at the Kentucky Derby or other prestigious horse races. I never realized how much time, effort, and resources went into making one of those championship horses. I'd always thought that somebody was out riding and one day discovered that a certain horse was fast and gifted. So that person decided to enter the horse in some race. Of course, the development of a champion horse race takes much more than that. It's no fluke that a horse races in the Kentucky Derby. In horse racing, the bloodstock agent focuses attention on the animal's bloodline. He or she will spend months studying a particular line of horses, researching the lineage. The bloodstock agent will examine how the horse's father fared as a racer, how long his stride was, how fast he could run, what size he was, and on and on. The breeders understand that winners don't randomly happen. Winning is in the blood. Winning is in the blood. Simply to breed one of these world champion thoroughbreds can cost up to $500,000, and there's no guarantee that the colt will win. In fact, when the newborn colt is born, his legs are all wobbly, he can barely stand up, and his eyes are glazed. The uninformed observer might say, those poor owners wasted their money. That horse couldn't win anything. He looks like an average, ordinary horse. But the owners know that on the inside, in his blood, the colt has a legacy of championship genes. In fact, he may have a dozen world champions on the inside. It's all in the blood. That's why the owners are not necessarily concerned about the colt's initial weaknesses. They don't really care what color he is, how pretty he is, or even how large he is. They know that deep down inside, the colt has the blood of a winner. You come from a bloodline of champions. Friend, God looks at you and me the same way. Our external appearance is irrelevant. It doesn't matter what color your skin is or what your ethnic background is. It doesn't matter how many weaknesses or flaws you have. You were made in the image of God. You come from a long line of champions. Consider this. Your heavenly Father spoke the galaxies into existence. Your elder brother Jesus defeated the enemy. Think about some of your natural ancestors. Moses parted the Red Seas. There's great faith in your bloodline. David, a shepherd boy, defeated Goliath with only a few pebbles he picked up from the brook. That is courage in your bloodline. Okay, Rachel, I'm going to add you. Welcome. Samson toppled a building. There's supernatural strength in your bloodline. Nehemiah built the walls of Jerusalem when all odds were against him. Determination and persistence pulsate through your bloodline. Queen Esther put her life on the line to save God's people. Sacrifice and heroism are in your bloodline. These are not just random names from the Bible. They are part of an unbroken lineage of faith that comes down today and to your life and mine. What God did in their lives, he wants to do in ours. You come from a bloodline of champions. You are not ordinary. You're a thoroughbred. It doesn't matter what your present condition looks like. You need to know that inside you flows the blood of a winner. On the inside of you are seeds of greatness. Take a better look at your bloodline. On the inside of you is champion after champion. You are the seed of Almighty God. Your lineage is why you must quit focusing on your weaknesses and get a bigger vision on your life. Understand that God sees you already at the winner's circle. He's already been putting the roses around your neck. That's what David was talking when he said, God, all my days you ordained me before one of them came to be. In other words, you may be a mere 30, 40, or 50 years of age, but God has been working on you for a long time. He had you planned long before you were born. You are extremely valuable. You're not ordinary. You come from great stock. You've been destined to live in victory, destined to overcome, destined to leave your mark on this generation. So remember, it's in my blood to be better and do better. Welcome, everybody. Remember, you come from a bloodline of champions. You know, we are here to have a great day, a great week, and it's up to us. And you know, we can't accept defeat. We've got some open seats. So, Rachel, I saw you were jumping on. Try to jump back on. Got some open seats. We're here. This is Morning Moto to get inspired, to have an amazing day, and to keep things going. So we've got Mo. Welcome, Mo.
Sorry, I'm just resting, laying down, but I decided to jump in, fill in the seat.
Oh, I'm glad you did. How do you stay motivated?
By being myself and being happy and watching a sunset every once in a while.
Those are great ways. Ganilla, welcome. Join us in the seat if you want to. And we've got a couple other people. And we've got Ed, and you see some people jumping on. It's about that time of day. I'm here in the United States, East Coast, so it's 6 a.m.-ish. Just getting my coffee going. We got Rachel. Come on, everybody. What do we want to talk about today? The message today, again, was we are already born with greatness within us. So don't be defeated. Don't think you're average. None of us were born to be average. It's not greedy and boastful to go out there and live our life purpose. It's really not. We all have very unique talents. Mo, what do you do?
I am an Uber driver and a person who does Periscope and just walks around and interviews people and has a good time.
You feel like you're living your life purpose?
Life's purpose is a unique question. I think so. I like to motivate people. That's why I came in here. You kind of like, you attract like-minded energies. I like what you're posting about.
I'm having a little bit of a trouble hearing you. I heard you like motivating people, and I think that's a good thing.
Do I sound far away, or what's going on?
Now I can hear you. Whatever you just did, now I can hear you better.
Okay, cool. What I was saying was that I do feel like I'm living my life's purpose. I do. I do a lot of good for the world, and I showcase true human qualities. What I mean by that is just being non-judgmental and having a great time with others. I don't know if it makes any sense, but you get it.
It does, and that's important. That's very important. And sometimes the non-judgmental is hard. It can be hard not to be judgmental, depending on what your profession is and whether you have to be a perfectionist or you're the supervisor, the business owner. Right. You know, part of that is being a little bit judgmental because you have to make sure there's good delivery of customer service, and you got to balance that, how to build somebody up as you're slightly trying to get them to improve themselves sometimes.
I see where you're coming from. It depends on how we're looking at it, like you said, from a business standpoint or a personal standpoint. What I mean is, like, you know, here in New York City where I'm from, you know, there's so many people from all different, you could say, walks of life, from all different class levels and such, and you can never judge somebody, you know, based on any one thing. You know, sometimes I might be having an off day and I just want to go outside, like whatever. You can't judge me and put me into a certain, um, category. So
Right,
that's
right.
my non-judgmental thing.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you?
And
All about?
respecting different cultures is very key. It is very key. And it's neat to learn why people do what they do or believe their belief system. Um, I think a lot of it goes back to taking time to learn who somebody is.
Correct.
Or even just, putting yourself in their shoes, like you said, you're having maybe a good day or a bad day and you want to go outside walking. Somebody may see you and they're like, okay, is he having a good day or a bad day? If I give a smile, is that going to help his day improve? And, it sounds so kind of cliche, but just a smile can totally change somebody's day.
I agree totally. Every time I go to like the gas station, to fill up gas and I want to buy a bottle of water or a chocolate or, a fig bar or whatever it is, I always, after I put the stuff on the counter, they calculate it. I'm like, hey, how are you doing today? How's your day? And they always respond and they pause for a second because it's something they're not used to. They're just used to, oh, credit card swipe, done, buy. So I kind of like interrupt that process. I pause them. I'm like, hey, how are you doing? I look at them in the face. And they're like, oh, I'm doing great. And they start laughing or they give a response. And that could lead to something else further. If not, it is what it is. But it kind of is a sign of, I don't know if it's positivity, but they like it. So I think it's cool. I like doing it.
Well, when you said you look them in the face, I think we've gotten away from that. We're all just so, either people are looking at their phone or they're afraid for whatever reason. We don't make a lot of eye contact anymore. It's those interpersonal skills are getting lost.
Yeah, I think it's very wrong. I like seeing the reactions of others, their body language and such, and eye contact is obviously quite important. I, met a lot of people recently. I went to the Periscope Summit, and I like to see genuine relationships or, shaking somebody's hand, them looking you straight in the eye. You could feel something. You could, sense the energy. Sometimes people just give you a handshake. They're not looking at you, looking in another direction. That's not a handshake. That's not even a connection. So you kind of, but it's good. It's just a natural human indicator for, is this a cool person or not? It all depends, but you can't be judgmental of them. You don't know what's going on, but it's cool though. It's nice when you interact with a lot of people to start to understand who's who. Small business person of the year. Are you small business person of the year?
No. But we do have a small business person of the year on here. Ganilla was small business woman of the year in our town back in, I think, 2010 or 2011.
Who is?
No, that was just someone's comment.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I thought they were talking about you. So what is it that you do, Jaynine? How are you? What do you do?
I own Dreamcatcher. I'm a business and career coach. I'm a retired United States Marine. I like helping people take whatever they're dreaming about, what they would love to do, but they're kind of afraid to do. Somebody has said, no, you can't do that. Or they don't know how to make that dream come true. Help them, whether it's entrepreneurship or becoming, going to school and having, designing a career track, something of that nature.
I like that a lot. That's really good. Actually, I drive like with Uber, and in between picking up clients and such, what I do is listen to motivational talks or speeches. I go on SoundCloud. I just type in like motivational speeches. I start listening through everything. If I feel like it's not a good speech or if it's not, I just click next. But other than that, I listen to them and they've been very beneficial. So like what you've been talking about is manifesting your dreams and like bringing it into reality. And that takes a lot of reframing of the mind, not allowing yourself to allow fear to, kind of like cause a dark shadow. And, somebody once told you in your life, oh, you can't do something, but that's not true. So it's good that you do what you do.
It takes a lot of moral courage to step up and be, it sounds silly, but to be who you're supposed to be, who you were born to be. We've had some great blabs since we've started where, people from all over have jumped on, and it's like, sometimes we're shamed if we don't want to be the $1 million coach or chase the dollar and be, if somebody wants to work for a nonprofit instead of, heading the nonprofit, or doing volunteer work instead of a paid job. And it's really, you have to follow your heart and do what feels right for you. But I do truly think we all have very unique gifts and a purpose, and our life lessons, the good, the bad, and the ugly we have been through have been part of that purpose of who we're supposed to step up and be. And if somebody listening has had, just what somebody would say is just a crappy life, there is a message in there that you're supposed to be sharing and helping somebody else who's probably going through that same crappy life, whether it's loss of a child, domestic violence, living through, combat veteran or something. There's a message in there and a purpose reason that, you went through that crap, and use that to help others. I think that's, we have that.
Friedrich Nietzsche, the philosopher, used to talk about that. He said, he's the one that created the thing, like, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? So it's also through the tough and the difficult and whatever that comes the beauty. They always look at, like, trees and flowers, right? You see all the roots and the dirt, they're so messy. You have these, like, really pretty flowers that emerge from the top. So those are really good ways to look at it. Also, I think it's very important for people to kind of, like, start working on building a foundation in their mind of being in control of, their emotions. I think that's one of the biggest things. I know in different schools of thought, the mastery of emotion is, like, the best thing. I think they should do that, master their emotions, so that when they're presented with a challenge, they're able to act in a very, I don't know if it's a rational way, but in a good way, because they already pre-programmed their mind, so that when they're like challenged, they know how to act a certain way, and they're not just sidetracked or feeling like, oh my God, what is this? They haven't ever experienced that. So, like, even at the Periscope Summit, for instance, they were talking about how somebody should not fear something. If you haven't done something before, visualize it in your mind, kind of like start thinking about it. And I do that all the time. How they say also, like, Muhammad Ali, the boxer, he was like, I'm the greatest. He believed he was the greatest. And it kind of, like, helped him propel, to that level. A lot of people who think about that, they kind of, like, feed that into their minds. You are what you eat, as they say. So if you feed yourself positivity and all of that stuff, you do become that. People don't believe that, but it is totally true.
It's envisioning the outcome you want. And that's why, if you're around negative people, or you just keep hearing those negative scripts in your mind, you feel defeated, you feel blah. But if you have, like you said, even if you're afraid to do something, or it's something new and you're like, I don't know about this, but you need to know, what do you want? What's your expected goal for doing this, or, even going to the summit? What was your goal? How many people did you want to make? The connections? Even going to conferences can be a bit scary if you aren't going with anyone you know. First coaching conference I went to, I knew one person, and it was like a 3-day coaching conference. This was back in 2008. And I showed up, I think it was the second morning, and nobody in my row, how when you go to a conference, it's like your table, your row, and those kind of the people you start to just move in a little pack with them. Nobody was there. And I remember sitting there thinking, okay, I could sit here in this seat, and I'm looking around going, I can sit here and look like the dork who has no friends, or I could just take a deep breath and start walking down the center aisle and introducing myself to people who are also sitting there alone, not talking to anybody. And that turned into, I met several people who have been lifelong since then, mastermind partners, and we have joint ventured on projects. And that wouldn't have happened if I had stayed in my little row, just sitting there by myself, pretending to read something and not.
I have to ask you a question.
It's like putting myself out there to meet new people.
Now I have to ask you a question. Do you find yourself being a introverted person or extroverted person? How do you find yourself being? And if you find yourself extroverted, were you naturally born like that, or did you make adjustments in your life to be that way?
That's a great question. I am a natural born introvert, but to succeed in the military, I had to be, that's where I started to fine tune this. I realized, you have to be in a man's world, being a female, you really have to become an extrovert at times when the times are there, whether it's running morning PT in front of a, battalion of people, you're up there on this table leading morning exercises. You just step into the role. And I had a peer one day say, one day he looked at me and he said, I don't like being here either, because we worked in a miserable place at the time. He says, but when I get out of my car and I walk into the building, before I enter the door, I just tell myself, I'm role playing, I'm an actor, and this is my movie set. And if you saw this guy, you would think he was just the most squared away, love the Marine Corps person. And I was just dumbfounded. And after I retired, I thought I would become a clinical psychologist and just sit in my office in a hospital and work with people one-on-one. And I don't think that was my life plan. That wasn't my purpose. I had already started my business and was doing podcasting, which is very safe. You're behind your computer, just interviewing someone. And I had an opportunity to take that podcast to a radio show out of Chicago and talk about fear. They gave me a radio coach. It was a great opportunity. It was a blessing. I had to step into it. I had to step into that fear. And also with being a business owner, I started doing retreats and one-day workshops and speaking. And again, that's totally out of my comfort zone, but it was necessary to build my business. And so I know, and I also am a college professor. So I know for me as an introvert to survive in an extroverted world, I need a lot of quiet time. Even doing these blabs can be sometimes mentally exhausting, because we've had some great ones going, and it's just not really my element, but it is key to success. And I think it is supposed to be part of me helping share what's my purpose.
Well, I like that a lot. The reason I asked that question is because, as you said, you were sitting there in the room, nobody was at your table, and you decided, rather than to be afraid and just look like the dork in the room, you wanted to go over to others and to, engage with them and to build connections. And as you said, the connections have led to fruition and positive things. The reason I asked that question is because, others might find themselves in a situation and think to themselves that, hey, I can't, do this because of this. And that's not true. They should never do that. I always like to look at others, like, let's say, oh, I can't play baseball, I can't do this. People put limitations on themselves. How can you tell that to the person who has no arms, that paints with their toenails? Or, I mean, not with their toenails, paints with their feet, right? They grab a brush with their foot in between their toes and they paint, or they draw, they type on the computer, or whatever it is that they chose to do, and they were able to accomplish. So that tells you that, you can do it. You're just limiting yourself personally in your mind. So I think it's important to teach people how to be fearless and how to engage with others. When I lived in Las Vegas for a short time period, like, a lot of people are afraid of going to clubs or dance places by themselves. I'm not. I go there by myself, and I find myself going into the crowd, meeting people, having a good time, and that's it. So yeah, really good experience in Blab. Thank you both. You're welcome. Yes. She asked a question actually earlier. What about coaching through Blab? Is it a successful method? Do you feel like coaching through Blab is successful? I think it is. As you say, you are enjoying this Blab experience. So I don't know if it's personal coaching, but maybe by our chat, you're able to learn something.
I think that's a great question. What about coaching through Blab? I think Blab is a great, I wouldn't want to do heavy. Remember, Blab is open. We cannot shut it down. It is open. It's
well, the internet is open.
Yes, but anybody can jump on here, so it's not like we can close it and keep it a private between somebody. So I think as far as coaching, it's great for a general topic, like we're talking about thriving in an extroverted world. I don't see doing it for one-on-one, very intimate, specific, something that's very personal. I don't see it being used right now for that, unless the person was really open to it. But I think it's a great lead attraction. I think it's a great forum to share on a topic because, they're recorded. I save mine over to YouTube and then keep them on a YouTube playlist and over on Pinterest board.
That's very nice.
So, I know somebody's going to get some really good coaching from all of these because everyone, we never know what we're going to end up talking about really on that day. But we always end up with good conversations. And I want to just say, there's a really good book called Quiet.
I know that book. I love the book. Spoke about like Rose.
And I don't remember
a bunch of different people. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember the author, and I had the ebook, and I am not good at reading ebooks. I still need to be able to hold a book in my hand. I guess I'm too old to enjoy ebooks.
Hold on. We're talking about limitations. Hold on.
But I love a real book. So I never really finished reading the book. And I actually had her audio book too. I tried listening to when I was running in the morning, but it has some really good tips and messages how to thrive in an extroverted world. And I think we need to teach, as much as we want to embrace being who we are, we do need to teach our children who may be introvert. You still have to get along with people. And it goes back to your interaction mode with the people in the checkout counter at the store, making the eye contact. I taught interpersonal psychology this past summer, and I had so much fun with it. It was a lot of the things that we are talking about, making eye contact, shaking hands, exchanging pleasantries, reading body language, knowing when to maybe push a little bit more into somebody and dig deeper and when to not based on that, but just the first impressions. And it was just a really good college class. I think I learned as much as the students did.
That's fabulous.
But I think, we need to teach children that more because it carries over into our personal success. I know sometimes people think I'm mean because I'm one that if I go into a new environment, I'm just standing there watching people. I'm not the one who's going to walk in and be the life of the party. I'm just going to sit and watch and figure out people before I let them know who I really am. Or I'm going to let them, in my mind, I'm thinking, how much do I want to share with them about who I am? Which facade do I want to share?
It's really cool, right? How life is. And that when you become aware of that you have different facades, so to speak, it's really cool. We were talking about that earlier in another Blab. I just joined Blab today. It's my first time actually being on this platform. So I enjoy conversing with you, of course, because you're amazing. I followed you. But yeah, it's really cool. And I wish there was more people to talk with. I guess it's early hour here. I'm also on the East Coast in New York.
Yeah, I'm on the East Coast. I picked this time of day for my Blab because I wanted it really to be morning motivation as people are waking up. I'm always reading first thing in the morning, something motivating. So I figured I would share it. Not sure what your comment is. Then we're doing a bad thing by listening to you. Yes. No, I don't think you're doing a bad thing if we were talking about the coaching. And jump right in. And we've got open seats. So if you want to jump in.
And chat with us.
Yeah.
Your new
Blab is wonderful. I feel like I've made some really great connections on Blab with people who are on other time zones who just have, there was a thing I read the other day.
We have a moment.
The what?
No, I had something I wanted to talk about, touch base upon. I remember when you were just talking about somebody wanting to talk about their lives openly, only if they were open. I created this idea or whatnot. I called it crowd family. And what I wanted to do was to actually, by case study, have somebody be so open as to share their story or share their struggle or concern or whatever it is to the community. And we as a whole, as a community, will solve that problem for them. Not by donating money, not by donating finances, but by sharing experiences and knowledge to allow them to solve that problem, as the internet does. But I want to do it in video format. I think would be really cool.
And that, is the power of Blab. We had a couple people on several times, and I'm trying to think, we've been here 9 days maybe. We've been doing these every weekday.
That's fabulous.
And we've talked through some business situations. And again, that's my purpose for being here as far as kind of the coaching is, whether it's business or personal growth. If you've got a topic, something you need to, that's kind of maybe gnawing at you that and you're trying to get in the right frame of mind, whether it's a negotiation coming up today or a personal experience or something, jump on board or type in the chat window. And again, we'll share our insights because we all see things from a different perspective.
That's right.
And we all have different life experiences. My education background is psychology. That is what I have done my whole thing. And I come from, the reason I joined the Marine Corps is because my mother said I wasn't smart enough to go to college. And I just kind of like, okay, the undergrad was to prove her wrong. The master's degree was to prove her wrong. Working on a PhD was to prove her wrong.
What did you do your thesis about?
I'm sorry?
Your thesis for your PhD, what did you write?
It is on the, I'm trying to think how I worded it. I was trying to find or dispel, prove that what addiction treatments are available for a person with a developmental delay and an alcohol addiction.
Very interesting.
Because I have worked in a hospital with teenagers who were lower IQ, and they glamorized all the information that's out there, like a McGruff comic book. They couldn't read because they were at a 6-year-old level mentally. So they were looking at the pictures, glamorizing what's in the pictures. They're glamorizing what's on TV. They're getting disability checks. You cannot deny them buying alcohol or drugs. So they're an easy target by, drug dealers and people who know they get a disability check every month. There's got to be a program out there for them, and there's not.
That's insane.
So,
hey, Austin.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in. Sorry, I'm used to Periscope where people come in, you address them, but I guess when you're having a deep conversation, you can't just jump in there and say, hey, welcome.
No, we can. It's just we get busy. So we've got Austin joined us, and I think, and again, I know, who else do we, okay, we got a new message. Good morning, Austin. Jump on board. Join us.
You have to make sure you're wearing like a burgundy shirt because we're both wearing red.
I'm in my Redskins sweatshirt today, so that's the part, the other part, when I first started the morning blab, I put on there, no makeup required. It's too early to get dressed up. We're just waking up. I'm getting in that right mindset.
Sleep. I'm actually quite tired. I just wanted to jump in here, but I have to attend the summit in a few hours. I'm going to get a few hours of rest. Thank you, but I'm on a train. Oh, cool, Austin. That's awesome.
Now, do y'all use Blab on your phone? I have a smartphone, and I didn't see an app for Blab.
I'm on my phone now using Blab. I went to the Apple store, and I just downloaded the app. Are you on Apple?
You have an iPhone?
Yeah.
I'm a Galaxy girl.
You might find it on the Google Play Store.
I didn't see one.
I think it is.
I didn't see.
If not, you download it from the website, actually. You get it from the Blab website.
I have to check. I didn't see how to do it because it would be very nice. Ganilla's got to go off to work. Ganilla owns a bakery, so she makes the best cupcakes and cookies and all that sinful stuff that keeps us going. Have a good day at work, Ganilla. And she is from Sweden. She has a Swedish bakery here in my town.
Oh, that's really cool, actually.
Yeah, it is. It's really neat. And her grandparents were bakers in Sweden. So she's kept that tradition going. I think it's neat. It's very exciting.
I think so as well. Hey, Jaynine, is that how you pronounce the name? Jaynine?
Jaynine.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. Everybody butchers my name.
Tell us your accents. Where are you from? Where are you from, Jaynine?
I'm from Holstein, Iowa, but I'm now, after 20 years in the Marine Corps, living in North Carolina.
North Carolina. My friend Charles Ellis is from North Carolina. I'm from New York City, born and raised in New York City, and my accent is a mixture of New York City, and my parents are Middle Eastern. So obviously I was raised in the household, so it's kind of like a mixture of everything. Bum, bum, bum. Yes.
Okay, folks, what do you want to talk about this morning? Somebody jump on board if you want.
Jaynine,
we've been talking about.
It was a pleasure chatting with you. I hope to.
Well, thanks for being here.
Like.
Great conversations.
Thank you. All the best.
Bye. Okay, guys, I'm here all by myself now. We've been talking about being an introvert, living in an extrovert world, a lot of interpersonal communication just to brighten somebody's day. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Jump on the seats. Jump on board. Don't make me just sit here. I'm looking through what do we want to talk about? Let's see if we got any questions. If you've got questions, I know sometimes people don't want to jump on because they're, still waking up for the day. But if you've got questions or anything, because we've had some good questions. Somebody had something about goal setting can lead to frustration. I think that's probably true. If you try to tackle too much, or it's not really the goals you want to focus on, it's not. Sometimes we find ourselves living someone else's dream and not our own. And that's when that goal setting can be overwhelming. Or if you're trying to add too much on, you've got to have very realistic. There's an acronym called SMART for goal setting. Your goal must be very specific. You don't just say you want to make a lot of money. You put a dollar in exact, and I'm just using money as an example. So with the SMART acronym, it's got to be specific. It's got to be measurable, achievable, realistic, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So if you were going to do money, specific, how much money do you want to make? Measurable, how are you going to know if you're meeting your goals? You would have like maybe a weekly goal, monthly goal. How much money do you need to make each week to ultimately get that? It's got to be achievable. Is it realistic? If you have a job or a business that's not generating the income to help you make that money, you would then need to get back in there looking at how to create some new money. Is it realistic? Is it really a doable amount? If I said I wanted to make $10 million by next week, that's not realistic. No. And is it timely? What is the timeline realistic? Some of them kind of blur. But when you really walk through that SMART acronym when you goal set, it makes you really stop and think. And it helps you put things into a plan. I have an exercise called 10 to the Garden. I do it a lot of my retreats where it kind of takes goal setting with vision board. And I talk about, if you're having a garden, you have to plant the seeds, cultivate those dreams, just like a garden, water them, take care of them. And that's where making sure you're tending to those. Name some books to read about goal setting. I honestly can't think of a book off the top of my head about goal setting. I think if you had to read a book about goal setting, it would exhaust you and you'd never do your goals. Does anybody else have any? If you have a book that you recommend on goal setting, type it in the chat over here. If you want to, like I said, I've got an exercise 10 to your garden I can email out. I don't think I have it on my website. So you can email me, Jaynine at coachjaynine.com, and I'll email you that exercise. It's a real, I don't know, my clients have enjoyed using it. But if you just email me that and say goal setting, tend to your garden, morning blab, I'll email you that. Because it's a fun exercise, but really and I've done it with my college students. But I think the number one thing with goal setting so you don't get frustrated is don't pick too many goals. Don't pick just keep it one or two. And you're going to have, there's different terms. I call them short-term and long-term goals. I consider a short-term goal something within a year that you can accomplish. And then a long-term goal is maybe 3 to 5 or longer. Some people call them stretch goals, where you really have to get creative and push yourself out of your comfort zone to make it happen. So there's lots of different terminology with the goal setting. If you have one in particular and you want to either jump in here and I could help you walk through that SMART acronym, or if you want to type it in the question or the chat, I can. Hey, Samantha, welcome. Jump on board. We're talking about goal setting. I can walk you through how I would use that SMART acronym on that goal setting, if you would like. Jump on board, Samantha. I'm here all by myself. So I hope that helps you with your goal setting, because I think it's important to have goals, because you know what? A goal is, you're with a client. Goal setting, really, if you don't have, he's going to love Blab. Blab is wonderful. If you don't have goals, then I really think you're just kind of, the goal, working through that SMART acronym and knowing how you're going to achieve your goals is like a roadmap for life. And without a roadmap or goals, you're just wandering and driving in circles. Hey, Samantha. Samantha's the tweeting goddess.
I need my laptop.
Are you able to hear us, Samantha?
I'm only trying to help.
And we've got Stomp Marketing. Welcome. I think Samantha might be having some trouble logging on. Uh-oh. She might not have been able to connect. Okay, let's try it again.
If you can hear me.
Hey, Samantha.
Stay long. She can't. Can you hear me?
Hey.
No, she can't.
I can hear you. I can see you.
We're just saying hi.
Hi, where are you at?
Can you hear us, yeah?
Yes, yes.
Okay, hang on. I'll hire it a bit. Some more people might join in. We're just, this is James.
Hello.
And I'm just showing him Blab, okay? We're in the Talbot Hotel in Wexford. So hi, everyone. And yours was the only interesting-ish enough Blab for us to join in. The rest of them were all rubbish. So you're always very inspiring. Thanks. So you've some people joining in there.
Thank you.
So Brandon is there. He's great. And there's Melanie. And hi, everyone. I know it's really noisy here, so I'm going to go because I don't want to ruin the Blab. But we just wanted to say hi.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, hey, everyone,
bye,
have a great day.
Bye.
Bye. Well, that's sweet. So who else? We've got the Logical Fox and Stomp MNPR and Brandon. So they've all jumped in. And we've got Marie, Colin, Helena, and Bonnie have jumped in. I think the only one I haven't seen this morning is Dana. Dana's usually popping in, listening while he's getting ready for his morning. So we've been here talking about goal setting, and we've covered a lot of great topics this morning, some new, unique topics. We've talked about, again, the being an introvert in an extrovert world, just overcoming some fears, putting yourself out there. And, you don't have to take, a big leap. You can start with some baby steps, just making eye contact with, as Mo said, the person at the grocery store, at the checkout line, just doing a, hey, how are you doing today? It's those, I call them the pleasantries. We've kind of gotten away from sharing pleasantries and being polite, using our manners. We've gotten just so abrupt with texting and looking down at our phones and blanket emails, and it is back to a lot of the interpersonal communication skills that Mo was talking about, and just reaching out to people. I think it's, as morning here, still dark. I am not ready for fall. I am a summertime gal. I retired here because I like the beach. Welcome, Nathalie. Oh, Bonnie says, can we talk about how introverts aren't inherently shy? Yes. Oh my gosh. There are so many. Bonnie, if you want to jump in a seat, we usually go to about 7 o'clock, folks. So we've still got some time here. I think that is just a big misconception about introverts, that we're shy, we're antisocial, you know what, people, when an introvert is not talking, they're processing. And even when they are talking, their brain is going a million times a minute. They are processing the environment. They're processing the people, the body language. We are on overload. And when we leave, I'm just going to say we're at an event. Like if we were at where Samantha was at, that would exhaust me. The noise. I don't like noise. 98% of my day, I am in total silence, working or communicating with one person. I don't have music on. Television's not on till I'm ready to fall asleep. I work better in complete silence. So Bonnie, that was great. I'm glad you brought that up. And if you have something to share, please jump on board or type it in the chat and I'll share it with everyone. But that is a big misconception. We are not shy. We are very analytical. And you know what? We need both types. We need introverts because they're the problem solvers. They're the deep thinkers. They're the critical thinkers. They're the ones making big changes behind the scenes. And we have the extroverts who, they're great sales. Like they are great sales for my business. They can get out there and spread the word. We need both types, but I agree with Bonnie. I think she was hinting at this. Don't give us a bad name. Don't shame us for being an introvert. Don't try to change us. And I didn't want to mean we need to change. We just need to learn to thrive in an extroverted world, which means an introvert needs some extra care. And by that extra care, I mean, by the time Friday night comes, I am not a club gal. I've never been going to the bars. Friday night, I want to be in probably sweats or my pajamas, a pizza and a glass of wine, and maybe one close friend or maybe none, and just a good book or nothing to recharge my brain. 1 or 2 weekends a month, I need to unplug from everybody so I have quiet and recharge. It's kind of taking care of it's part of my self-care. Occasionally, I call it the pajama day. You get up, you brush your teeth, wash your face, shower, put on clean pajamas, crawl back in bed with a book, and you unplug from the world. Part of my recharging. It's part of my self-care. So I'm glad Bonnie, you really brought that up, because we are not shy. We're just picky. We're choosy. We're selective. We don't need to be the center of attention. That's just not who we are. So we're all very unique. And, again, God gave us gifts for a reason. And, as much as people think sometimes I'm just mean and cold, I am also, as a coach, people come to me and within minutes, they're sitting on my love seat in my office crying. And when that first started happening, I'm like, oh my God. And then I realized, you know what? Part of me being me is the gift I have, that people come to me and they feel comfortable enough that we can sit there in silence. They can share everything with me. And that's one of my gifts. I'm not the chatty patty. I can't really read Know how to care. Oh, somebody just, I'm going to pop up and hopefully I don't lose you. How to care for introverts. Respect their need for privacy. Never embarrass them in public. Oh my God, I think that one's huge. Let them observe first in their situation, in new situations. Give them time to think. Don't demand instant answers. Don't interrupt them. Give them advance notice of unexpected changes in their lives. That is so true. Give them 15-minute warnings to finish whatever they're doing. Reprimand them privately. Teach them new skills. Yeah, we are very private and we take things very personal, I think. Enable them to find one best friend who has similar interests and abilities. Don't push them to make lots of friends. That's so true too. I don't need a lot of friends. I want good quality. Respect their introversion. Don't try to make them into an extrovert. That is a fabulous infographic. I'm sorry, I don't think I know how to pronounce your name correctly, and I'm apologizing. Nathaniel, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say it. It's a beautiful name, though. I like it. Great infographic. Nathalie, is that how you say it? Nathalie? It's very pretty. I apologize. I'm horrible with names. I'm from Iowa. We have simple names. Mary, Betty, but it's, and that's the beauty of getting out and exploring the world. We meet new people. It's French. Natalie is in French. We meet new people and we explore new surroundings and get out of our comfort zone. I know people, butcher my name, Jaynine, all the time. And so for those of you that don't know me, because I see we have a lot of new faces on here, I am Coach Jaynine. I am a retired Marine. I'm a business and career coach. I own Dreamcatcher. And my background's psychology, but I don't practice as a therapist. I'm much better suited as a coach. And this morning blab is where I just read a quick snippet from Joel Osteen to get us in the right mindset. And then we just kind of see where the day and the topic is going to take us. And we're here for about an hour, Monday through Friday. And I just find it a great way to connect and to, we've had people who it's in the middle of the afternoon. So it's a great way for them to jumpstart their afternoon, get in a positive mindset. So much of what we do or how we do things, perceive things, how our day evolves, it all starts with our mindset. So if we wake up dreading something we've got to do that day, this morning, even now, it's 6:55 here. So I'm looking at my to-do list. I get to work with some wonderful clients this morning. I'll be at the college this afternoon. I've got a great day. I just have to get it organized so I don't feel overwhelmed. But sometimes we look or we know we've got something, we're like, ugh. This is the place to get inspired to have a great day. If you've got to go off to work and you're not really enjoying that thought or getting in traffic, this is the place. If you look at some of the previous blabs we've gone through, breathing exercises, we've just talked about some wonderful topics. Blab has the replays always available. I also have them over on my YouTube channel and on my Pinterest. You can find me on Twitter everywhere as Coach Jaynine. And again, my business is Dreamcatcher. I just truly feel and believe that we all have very unique talents and gifts, and we're supposed to use them. Don't be shy. Don't be modest. Don't be, thinking you're not supposed to do whatever your dream is, which goes to the goal setting. So again, if you want that worksheet, just send me a quick email and I will email you out that worksheet for goal setting. I think it's important to have goals so you know where you're going. They're your roadmap. Without them, we just wander. And when I was in the Marine Corps, that's where I started developing my business name, Dreamcatcher. I saw people who just wandered. They spent 4 years, 20 years in the Marine Corps. No money in the bank, no education. They didn't take advantage of the education opportunities, and they didn't have a plan for when they left the military. They just were leaving and going, and they didn't look happy. They was just going, oh, I'm going home. Where's home? oh, I think I'm going to go back home, work on the farm, work in the factory. But they didn't have the sparkle. They didn't have the twinkle in the eye. They weren't standing proudly. They were just, oh. And I found that very sad and realized, and I'm in that category, or was, I wasn't afforded the opportunity to dream. Everything I wanted to do was no, no, no. I wanted to go to college. No, you're not smart enough. So I joined the Marine Corps. And luckily, I've had wonderful people in my life since then that have encouraged me to step up and be who I'm supposed to be. And that's my wish for everyone today, is you just step up and be who you are supposed to be. Okay, we got somebody joining us. Welcome. I don't know. It seems like people are having a hard time connecting today. I don't know what's going on. I am going to go ahead and read our prayer for today. I always wrap up because, again, I'm reading from Joel Osteen. And the format, I read the beginning message he has, then we end with his prayer for the day to become a better you. So today's prayer to become a better you. Thank you, Father, for your seed in my life. However others may see me, I'm choosing to see myself as you see me, already in the winner's circle you prepared for me. And remember, it's in your bloodline to be a better you. If you missed the beginning where I was reading, he was talking about race horses and how, they spend, it's in the bloodline. And it's in our bloodline to be great, to do great things. So I'm going to wrap up this blab for today. I want to thank you all for being here. It has been a great conversations again today. Thank you, Bonnie, Natalie, the Logical Fox, all of you for being here. It has been wonderful. And let's see, just doing a quick scan to see if we have any open questions, comments. I love the infographic. That was fabulous. Remember, introverts aren't shy. We're just very deep thinkers. See, I'm tongue-tied because it's so early still. Everyone, it has been an amazing day. Again, I'll be back here tomorrow at 6 a.m. for another morning Moto. And just so if you're wondering, Moto, that means motivation. It's a Marine Corps term. We always called it morning Moto. Time for some Moto. And of course, I've got my Moto juice, my coffee to help me get going. But I've got to take Miss Savannah for a walk, and she's been laying here on her bed patiently waiting. Miss Savannah's my dog, not a child. She's my dog. So everyone, have a very blessed day, and I look forward to seeing you on Blab, and I hope you join me again tomorrow. So bye-bye, everyone. Have a wonderful